Redemption's back. How's everybody doing today?
Pretty all right.
Not too shabby.
Yeah.
I've been worse.
Got Aaron, Stephanie, and Snow.
Hello.
Hey.
Howdy.
All right. So, what are we, like 17 days away from the election now?
Yep.
Yes.
17.
17
I know.
days?
She's
That
been
is the
countdown.
countdown.
Yeah.
I've got a countdown going.
Did everybody fill out the ballots already?
Yes.
Hell
I did.
yeah.
Yeah.
Filled it out, turned it back. I did mine in the mail. And I wasn't going to at first, but the reason I did it was because I filled it out in it probably took me 20 minutes. All of 20 minutes is the fastest I've ever filled out a ballot. And I put it in the mail on Sunday. And I figured that since I was mailing it this early, but I wanted to prove that mail-in voting does work. And I've been checking it daily. It hasn't technically got counted yet. And I've heard that it can take to give it 10 days because they are so swamped.
Yeah, I walked
Because they have so many ballots.
We walked ours over
Turned in.
and put it right there in the voter registration box, and we did that on Tuesday, and I haven't seen mine in yet either. So,
And I've already called the county recorder. I left her a message because I was like, I'm just calling to check in on this. I would have thought you guys would have gotten it by now. If you could maybe make a new message telling people about the time, then you don't even need to give me a call back.
I think they
Yeah.
sit in the box for a while.
Yeah,
Did you guys watch the town halls the other night?
I did.
Yes.
Yes.
I listened. Well, I listened to Biden's because they aired that on the radio, and I was still at work.
Oh,
And I really liked his. And then I was I decided to later watch
45.
the Orange Monsters on YouTube so he wouldn't get any credit because I know that he's all about the ratings.
Oh, Biden outdid him on the ratings. Did you know
And
that?
yes, and get this. Here's the fun fact about that. Trump's was aired on 3 different networks too.
Nah.
Biden's only on 1 and Biden still spanked him.
Well, I heard a theory about that. It was an article that they said that the Trump supporters don't like listening to him because then they don't have to defend what he says. You know? They just take the sound clips that Fox News plays and they run with that.
I was going to
That's
say,
hilarious.
they don't want to listen to him because they've learned their lesson. They're like, okay, if we listen to him and then he comes out with something, then we have to wait for Fox News to tell us what we're supposed to say to stick up for him.
Yeah.
Right. Oh, yeah, good point.
You know, it's not looking good for him. A
Knock on
couple
wood.
of his advisors were already preparing what he's going to say, you know, and who to blame when he loses.
So are
Hopefully.
people in the Senate. Lindsey Graham's already preparing that. A few of the key senators are already they've pretty much got it in their minds that he's losing. And I'm like, yeah, well, I hope that you guys still lose your seats too. I really want Lindsey Graham's ass
Oh,
out of
God.
there.
Screw that guy.
Ted Cruz thinks it's going to be a bloodbath. That they're going to lose.
Good.
They're
Yeah.
gonna lose the Senate.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
That one lady, Rachel Bidikofer, her name's either one of those last. She's the one that got it down to the exact numbers. She's really good at predicting things. In the 2018, she predicted on the nose how many seats were going to go over to the Democrats.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? Mm-hmm. She's predicted that the Dems will take the Senate as well as the White House.
Oh, fuck yeah.
I know. I'm they will gain control of the Senate. So, folks, we can finally get some stuff done.
Right, and what they can do is
Hopefully.
they can pack the Supreme Court.
Oh, you know he's
You know.
gonna.
Rachel
Bidikofer. Bidikofer. Yeah, that's it. That's her.
Oh.
Yeah, I couldn't remember if it was Bidikoff or Bidikofer.
I had a guy come in yesterday, and he was just like, well, you know, we can't. And he's talking publics. We can't lose because Biden is going to come take your guns. I'm like, are you kidding me?
Oh my God! So it was so funny. They were talking about that the other day, and they're like, because I had no idea how long that they've been doing that to people. They're like,
Oh
the
yeah.
NRA has been doing that to folks for 40 years, telling them that the Democrats are going to come for their guns, and they're laughing at these people because they're basically using them as lemmings. They're
never happened.
It's never going to happen. It never will. And they keep getting these people to vote against their own interests just because they scare the shit out
And to
of
buy
them.
more guns.
Yeah.
Yes, that too.
They panic.
And this guy really believes it because he goes, well, the Republicans, they have more guns, and so there will be a civil war. I'm just like, come on, dude, get rid of it.
Like, okay, first off, if they think they're gonna, they keep talking about this whole civil war idea too. I'm like, if you do that, they're gonna use the military to come in and blast your ass away from the sky with a drone. They're gonna do that. They've got the capabilities.
Yeah.
I'm like,
if Biden wins, who will be the commander in chief while this is going on? He'll be in control of the military.
like, yeah, they're not gonna allow this to happen. I'm like, you guys are crazy.
It's not gonna happen.
They've
not gonna happen.
They've watched one too many action movies. These folks that are like so in love with their guns. I'm like, you've watched one too many. Like, real life does not happen like that. Like, people, even when folks get shot, they like, people don't think what it. I had a friend who was like, he's like, yeah, one time we were in a restaurant in Mexico. I can't remember what city they were in Mexico. He's like, the cartel came in and started shooting people. He's like, people do not die the way that people think they do, like in movies. It is horrible.
Mm-hmm.
It is like something you don't ever want to be involved in.
Oh, I was going to say they want to go into the Civil War waving the flags of the losers of the last Civil War.
Yeah. The Dukes of Hazzard flag.
There's a hazard flag.
Deep boys.
From a foreign country, a flag of a foreign country that no longer even exists.
Well,
Right.
Basically.
So if it does come down to that, this podcast is big in Istanbul, so we got somewhere to go. We can just go record from there.
I would love to go to Istanbul.
Nice.
Anyways,
Do we all have our passports updated?
I do.
We're big in Istanbul and Hiroshima.
Yeah, I would like to go to either one.
I will, yeah.
I would like to go to several of the countries on our list.
I was looking at our stats, and you would think that we get a lot of listeners, obviously in this area, Northwest Arizona, but we're heard all over: Los Angeles, Florida, New York City, Chicago, Mississippi, Texas. So, hello, everybody.
Yeehaw! Hey, y'all.
In Colorado, just in case my mom is listening.
Oh, okay. I like
Spread some
Colorado
Colorado
too.
love.
Yeah.
But keep it local for 1 minute. I'm gonna play bad. Usually not the bad cop. I want to play bad cop here for one person, and this is for Bridget Langston. Did you guys know who?
I've seen her name.
saw
Listen
something.
to this quote, okay?
That was
I'll
Louis.
put my glasses on. Okay, so what she did, she went down to the Board of Supervisors meeting. A bunch of anti-maskers went down there, and wanted to go in, speak up, in front of the board, but they weren't wearing masks, and security would not let them in.
Good.
Yeah, they said, "Oh yeah, put your mask on, you can come in." So they made a big deal about it, and she wrote this on Facebook. I was humiliated, discriminated, and denied my rights as a law-abiding American. I was treated like a slave, while the masters, aka the supervisors, were directing the enforcers. She said that.
What the fuck?
Yeah. Bridget Langston. She compares being forced to wear a mask to
being a
slavery.
slave.
She isn't the first one. I've seen some other people
Fucking
do that
God.
too.
I don't even know what to say. I'm just sitting here with my mouth open. Who the fuck do you think you are, lady? Like,
Yeah, unbelievable, huh?
Mm-hmm.
I mean,
and you really need a fucking history lesson.
There's, I can totally understand the comparisons of having to wear a mask for a few minutes to being locked in a cage and whipped and beaten and basically sold off as a piece of property.
For
Oh my
hundreds of years.
God, come on.
Yeah. Separated from your family.
And the
Sold. Yeah, but you've got the same.
impression.
Oh my gosh. I can't.
This town.
I can't even.
So,
I'm about ready to just take my.
Hey, do you want to go to Istanbul?
Yes. I'm ready to go grab my passport and get the fuck out of here.
How many Americans do you think could even find Istanbul on a map?
Yeah, we have one hand raised.
Istanbul was Constantinople.
Oh,
Now it's Istanbul, not Constantinople.
okay. I didn't know that.
You don't know the song?
Oh,
No,
Jesus.
I've heard of Constantinople, but
No, the song. Istanbul was Constantinople. Now it's Istanbul, not Constantinople.
I never
Been a
knew
long
that's what
time
they were
gone,
saying.
Constantinople. Now it's
I never knew that's what they were saying.
Oh my
Even
God.
Now-
old New York was once New Amsterdam.
Why they
I knew
changed it.
that. Okay, I knew that, but yeah. Hey, you learn something new every day.
Yay.
Now I can
That's
sing
a good
along to
thing.
that song.
And know what it means.
I shouldn't sing, folks. You
know,
wouldn't
that
like my voice.
That sounds kind of good through this
I shouldn't
mixer.
either, but I do anyway.
Yeah. Oh no, yours wasn't bad at all. I stick to acting.
The other thing we got going on in this town is people are now, because they report the COVID numbers on the local news sites every day, people are like, you need to stop reporting these numbers. I'm getting sick of looking at it. Well, how about you just stop following the page if you don't want to know?
Yeah, don't or scroll through. You don't
Just
even
pass
then
on
don't
by.
click on the you don't have to click on the post. You know, there's a post and you can just take your finger and slide it up your phone.
I'm sure people are getting sick of, getting sick too. So
I know.
darn.
Yeah, because mask mandate in Kingman comes up again on Tuesday. And
Oh.
I don't think it looks good for our side on this time.
Really? Yeah. Those guys. Well, what else can we do? We can just try again. I will be there to try because I'm not going to give up easily. I'm not going to let these twerps just mow us over. So I'm going to try. And you know what? I'm glad that you brought that up because I kind of need to get a few ducks in my rows too about the main anti-maskers. Because I did want to make mention that one of the women who has constantly been on the anti-masking side from the get-go on the calls, she's always complaining about how businesses can't operate and da-da-da. And I found out that she owns half of a construction company, which your business is not affected at all. You do not have to wear a mask outside. And I'm just thinking, do you think that would be smart to call them out, like on some of that stuff? Like I kind of do, but I don't know.
I don't know. I don't know what good it does. I mean, I'm going to keep on trying to go on, but in this area, it seems like it's useless. And even in, even where...
But I mean, fax are useless here too.
Yeah.
I've been using fax when I call in. I was using super spreader
Science-
events and
science and data
science-based stuff.
But even in like Italy and all these other cities, towns, countries that went on
Italy.
lockdown, earlier in the year, and they're still using masks. They're seeing spikes now. Again, so as the cold weather gets here, it's gonna come back. It's gonna come back with a vengeance.
I thought the cold air was supposed to kill it. Oh no, it was hot air supposed to kill it.
Yeah.
Sorry,
The heat.
Yeah. Oh
no.
Our friend. Oh God, I forgot what we nicknamed him. The artist guy.
Oh, Karen. Arnie Warhol.
Arnie
Warhol.
Yes.
Andy Warhol?
Ernie Warhol.
He was posting. He made some. I think it was one of those stupid fake memes that that there's been virtually no common cold cases diagnosed this year. So they're saying COVID is all right.
Wow. Okay, that's a bold statement. But because doesn't one of your kids basically have a cold right now?
Yeah.
Yeah, and just so you know, Arnie, he was not diagnosed as COVID.
Yeah, so if you hear that cough in the background, that's my son. And,
Yeah, he does.
I've heard him.
He does, in fact, have a cough or a cold.
it's like a bronchitis.
It's the season. 'Tis the season for that.
Let's see. All right, let me get a little more positive here for a minute. This week I had. Well, you guys all know that this town is considered pretty racist, and I had this black customer come in, and I was on my way to be extra nice to her because, just feeling welcoming, and I don't think they feel welcoming, and I treated her so nice, and it was an insurance thing, and if I had made the estimate more, her insurance company would have told it. So I kept the estimate below what it would take to tow the car, and because she couldn't afford another vehicle. She didn't have the money if the vehicle was totaled. So did it, got it repaired. The insurance company told it anyways, but she paid for the repairs. And the problem being is when it's totaled, the vehicle's totaled, your registration is no good. You have to get a salvage title, and dealing with DMV these days, it takes months. So what I did was I went on and I got her a temporary registration online out of my own pocket. And her reaction was just priceless, and just, it's little things about doing, good things for people, and to see her reaction and how happy she was I'm going to take you out to dinner. And when Enterprise dropped her off, she grabs the Enterprise girl and she goes, "You see this man here? I love this man. I am never going anywhere else the rest of my life to get my car fixed." And I felt so good.
Nice.
So,
Good job, MJ.
so that, little positive messages, and give a shout out to our peeps that we had on the last episode that came out with the book Love Meets Life, now available on Amazon and Barnes & Noble. And I'm looking over at Snow, and she's got some.
Speaking of love,
Yeah.
I went on and bought 2 pairs of new
2 pairs.
sunglasses. These are one of them. And it's so cool. She gave me all this fun stuff. Thank you, Tara. I got all these fun stickers that came with it. And she even wrote a sweet, nice little note, thanking me for my purchase.
Yeah.
Thank you.
And Tara, if you listen to this, we want to have you back on. We got Aaron here. Aaron wants to speak with you too, do an interview. So
Yes.
all of us.
You remember, you and Deidre. It was great to interview you. Great to hang out. Sarah's wearing the love glasses. She's got the stickers. I'll try to do what I can to represent. And hopefully make it back up here to Kingman someday, and we'll hang out and see what's going on.
Yeah, all right. So have you guys back on the show again real soon.
I'm putting some of my stickers on my... All the kids do this nowadays. They put them on their canteen things, and I want to get in on the fun, folks.
You know how old you sounded when you said that? All the kids are doing.
Oh, the kids these days.
I did that. I did that just.
Oh,
I did that just for you, Steph.
Oh.
I'm a giant kid myself.
I think we're being a little silly today because of all the anxiety we're dealing with over the last few weeks.
I thought we were doing it too because we really don't want to. We don't really want to dwell on President Poopy Pants because he's going to be gone.
Yeah.
We're so I'm trying to get back into good spirits. I know for a while there I was being a real angry bitch I couldn't help myself though. It was like when you see how it's sad to watch your country
Right, split apart and the division and
divide, and it's sad to have people tell you that you're not a patriot because you want to follow things in the Constitution and it seems like some people just want to cherry pick what they like out of the Constitution, or they don't want it to be for everyone. And I just want it to be for everyone.
Yeah. Well, I mean, not even just the political divide. I mean, that certainly doesn't help anxiety in general. I know that I have a lot of stuff going on around this time of year that in the past few years, something always bad seems to happen at this point of the year. And I think that causes anxiety and depression.
Why? It's Halloween. It's the most glorious time of the year.
No, I love the
I have
fall,
several bad
but-
things that happened this month. in my
Oh.
life. So yeah.
I'm sorry, guys.
Yeah. This was the month my brother passed away. This was the month I was married to my horrible ex-husband. It's actually also, though, yesterday was my niece's birthday, which was pretty awesome. So,
Happy birthday,
Haley.
Haley. Happy birthday, Haley.
Colorado Springs.
You should celebrate this instead. Turn it into, you're going to celebrate that you're not married to that loser anymore.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a good point.
I get anxiety because I have to start wearing
19.
pants pretty soon instead of shorts and sandals every day. So, in about 2 weeks, I'm guessing I'm going to have to dig out my winter clothes and start actually wearing stuff that is harder to climb over a fence when I need to.
How often does that happen?
At least once a week.
You know.
He does active reporting.
You look weird in pants.
I felt weird in pants.
I'm wearing jeans today for the first time in like 3 months.
I love jeans and pants and
Same
coats.
jeans.
I like your socks too. I like to wear silly socks.
They say on the side. You see?
Yeah.
Oh, they say on the side, "Carpe the fuck out of this diem."
Yeah. Okay. I bet you I have a pair that's made by the same ones. I have ones that have those little somewhat kind of the same designs. They might be flowers. Yeah, and mine say men ruin stuff.
You don't ruin everything.
We do ruin stuff.
You guys ruin a lot.
Yeah,
you
we
ruin
mess
a
stuff
lot.
up all the time.
So
I can ruin some drywall.
I like funny socks.
But at the same time, women can cause anxiety too.
Yeah.
Women cause anxiety, then we ruin stuff.
Well, if you guys are doing the wrong thing, yeah, then we can cause you some anxiety.
What
You're
happened?
right.
Oh, you know what you did. You know what you did.
Don't even get me started.
Fuck it, I'm going to
Don't
go out in the
even get
street
me
and set off
started.
mortar shells.
You know what you did, bitch. You know what you said.
No, I thought we were going to go somewhere with anxiety. I guess not. I
We-
guess I'm not feeling very anxious today.
Anxiety and depression, like I used to always say that I had anxiety because, I even am having it a little bit right now talking about this, but mine was always more depression, and I think it's easier for me to say anxiety, but like the anxiety is caused by the depression, but there's like all
I got a
forms.
happy mix of both.
Yeah.
But the meds help.
Yeah.
What are you on?
Zoloft.
So,
Ah.
does it work?
Oh yeah, that shit turned me a total 180. I am so different than who I was like 5 years ago.
Really?
I was
Does it
thinking
give you
of
this
trying.
Does it give you the foggy head or anything?
Not on the right dosage.
Maybe you all need some Zoloft.
Yeah, I
Helps.
tried taking medication,
I think.
and it wasn't good stuff.
Try
Like, it
CBD
was-
oil. Have you tried that?
Yeah. Yeah, I do the CBD gummies.
I'm unfortunately allergic to CBD.
What?
Yeah, super fun. It was super fun figuring it out too, because I tried the CBD oil under, like the drops,
Uh-huh.
and I broke out in such horrific.
Oh, God.
Like it burned, and it was just, they were terrible. It was
Yeah,
It
don't
didn't-
take that then.
no, and I knew immediately. So back on the Zoloft I went, and I don't have the panic attacks anymore. I don't wake up shooting up straight out of my bed, sitting up, and I don't. I can. It doesn't. It's not a magic pill to make anxiety go away. what it does is it kind of dampens it down so that I can deal with it.
Yeah. I
So
was
that I can
thinking about
identify it.
Yeah, I was thinking about trying Zoloft because I have another friend who takes Zoloft too, and it doesn't seem like it has really bad side effects. Like I tried taking Lexapro, and that was
I had bad
horrible.
ones on that too. It made me so much more depressed.
And then I'd have
wanted to
the
cut my
weirdest
wrists.
dreams.
Yeah.
Like I had this dream that I was at my sister's funeral, and I'm like, oh hell no! I'm like, you need to get me off this
No,
stuff.
I
can't. I'm not functioning right on this. I'm like, this is making me worse.
Yeah.
And that's like not the depression so much, but the anxiety and the paranoia. And when the VA prescribes a bunch of pills, I'm like, when I got out of the hospital for sepsis in Springfield, Oregon, they literally prescribed me like 3 bottles of oxycodone. I mean, I'm not.
The VA just, yeah.
This was at the
the
VA.
VA,
This was a
yeah.
regular hospital.
Oh, no, it was.
And I'm like,
oh, okay.
I'm not taking this shit. And this is right after Oregon legalized recreational marijuana.
There
And
you go.
I had the bottles. I bagged them up. I didn't throw them down the toilet like as much as I wanted to. And I just went down to a dispensary and got a little quarter-ounce of green love and the devil's lettuce. And I'm like, because I mean the oxycodone controlled the pain because I had like major surgery. I mean, see the scars here.
Yikes.
And
Doesn't have a belly button.
I'm just like, you start getting hopped up on all these meds and stuff, and it starts controlling you. But it's kind of no different than, self-medicating in other ways, and you just gotta
Guilty.
Yeah.
fight it and
I think we're all
get through it.
And I just go nuts with the people that say, just calm down. Just be happy. Just you can choose to be happy. Bitch, if I could choose to be happy, I would choose to be happy, all right?
Well, I thought that was actually my favorite part of Joker
I didn't
when
know you, bitch.
when he said the worst part about having mental illness is people expect you to behave like you don't. I don't know if that's his exact quote.
That's close.
But yeah, and it's so true. And it's like, that's what I got out of that movie too. Like that movie was, a lot of people didn't like it because it made mentally ill people seem like they were violent, and not all people who are mentally ill are violent, obviously. But I still thought it was that movie was like, but the thing about that movie, like I went and saw it in the theater, like right when it opened. And I was like, on the edge of my seat the whole time. And just like, I had to just sit there like after the movie was over and being like, what did I just see? And then I tried to watch it later, like when it came out on HBO. That's a movie you really only need to watch once. Like it's a little...
Yeah, it's disturbing.
It's a lot. Yeah,
Which
it's
one is that?
disturbing, but it was really good.
The Joker movie? Oh, I don't think I
Yeah,
saw that.
Joaquin Phoenix plays
Yeah.
the Joker in that one.
They're making a sequel to it, but I don't think
I like
it's
Joaquin.
even necessary to make a sequel to that movie.
Well, they want to incorporate more of their story on the whole Batman Joker thing, that they were brothers. So I get them doing a story. Yeah, I don't know how it'll turn out, and I'll watch it, but I don't. I was glad he won the Oscar. I was like,
we should
if-
have said spoiler alert about the Batman being his brother part. We ruined it.
oh
for people.
shoot, yeah, I know. Oh damn.
I didn't know that. Thanks.
No, but that comes out like in the middle of the movie part anyways. Like so you could still watch the movie, and it's still like, just because what the movie should teach you is that we should be taking mental illness more seriously in this country. It should be...
Well, there's a stigma to it, too.
Right.
Yeah.
The stigmas need to be taken away, but it needs to be also taken care of the way it needs to be part of healthcare. It needs to, just because people think that you look fine on the outside or you're healthy, like all your stats, but there's head illness too.
Yep.
Well, I had a track record of dating bipolar women for like 3 in a row.
Mm.
And the first couple, you kind of go, yeah, she's just being nuts. But by the third one, third time I actually tried to take it seriously. I did research on it. I joined a support group for people that date people with bipolar disorders. And you learned a lot. When you start treating it like how it is, it's an illness. And if you were with somebody that had cancer, say, you wouldn't necessarily believe them. And you learn how to deal with it and how to cope with it.
Mm-hmm.
And you learn how to be there. There's ups and downs, and sometimes you can't talk people out of being they're down. You just have to let them be down. Just be there for them. If you have to back off, let them be themselves. Be there when you can. Because sadness is part of life. Anxiety is part of life, and it's just how you cope with it.
What's the difference though between like depression and bipolar?
Well, bipolar, you have
There's highs too.
You have highs. You have highs of an example is one would go out and just go shopping, buy all these clothes and stuff, and then the next day she would realize, what did I do? I'm not in my right mind. But going out shopping made her happy, and she was always ecstatic. So just get that happier, and then.
Well, and I think a lot of
There's
people are
depression
bipolar.
and mania. Well,
Yeah.
they're two extremes, though. It's more to
Yeah.
extremes, not just a little bit. I'm moody. That's
Right.
different.
So am I.
Yeah.
But I'm like,
That's
sometimes
different.
I buy stuff to feel better.
But when
Well, yeah, I mean, a lot of us do.
Not like where I end up getting myself in financial trouble, but
you do
Yeah.
realize after when you do research on it, you see the signs coming. It's not like it comes. It's not the highs and the lows. You see it. It's a gradual, and if you pay attention to it, you know what's going on. So.
because I'm like, sometimes I'm mad and then happy. I mean, I'm like, I'm trying to self-diagnose myself right now.
Generally, like it's blocks of time, though. It's not like I'm happy at 5 o'clock today and then I'm sad at 8.
Yeah.
It's more like blocks. There's a
And-
huge depression or a mania
And
Okay.
on either side.
yeah,
Oh,
a lot
wow.
of it's seasonal because it would happen.
Yeah.
It would happen in the spring and the fall.
Yeah.
Where with the changing of the seasons somehow would correlate with the highs and the lows.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, my ex-brother-in-law was bipolar.
And like, well, the season thing's a good thing because now it's getting dark earlier and it's going to start getting cold and dark. It's really going to flip off the handle. But like finding help. I went to rehab for 4 months in Prescott. That was a really hard decision, but it was very necessary. Like, to undo that pride thing, thinking, oh, I can fix this myself, and realizing it was failing, going, okay, I got to go. And getting dropped off there and being, it wasn't like a prison, but it just... It's hard to seek help for a lot of people. I think a lot of people have a pride issue. They don't know where to find it. Yes, we have Mojave Mental Health. What's that place down the Southwest?
Southwest Behavioral.
Yeah. But I mean, how many people can afford that? Does Access cover it? Who covers that? Who covers that for people who really need it when they need it?
And it's probably because there's such a stigma attached to mental illness. Like a lot of people see asking for help as a weakness. And we've got to get rid of that because I think there's people who probably could have been helped. I've had a few friends who have killed themselves. And it's like one of them battled it for years. I mean, I remember the first time I met him, he told me he started talking about killing himself, and I was like, why do you want to do this? Like, what? Because he wanted to still talk about it, and so like I let him talk about it because I had a point in my life when I had an attempt to. So I let him talk because I was like, that's sometimes what people need. But I'm like, why do you feel like why do you want to talk about this right now, and I don't really. I mean, I just met you, and he's like, oh, I've just always wanted to. Like, he talked about it like it was a life goal, and it was. I don't know. That's why sometimes I'm like, are some people born with something that makes them like that?
A lot of it's the chemicals in the brains.
There's nature and nurture.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But there's also, I guess like anxiety and depression, not necessarily always mental illness either, though, because I think, all of us have gone through that, so.
Well, I mean, I've always just...
I mean, show of hands, how many ever seriously considered suicide at some point?
Like I said, I've tried it. Well, this is what happened. It's kind of a funny story. I know it's not funny to say that, but like...
Hold on one second. For the record, all 4 hands went up, so...
Yeah. I was in 7th grade, and I was getting severely bullied. Like, I had to go to Catholic school, and kindergarten through 8th grade. So I grew up with these kids, and we only had 1 class per grade. So you went to school with them from kindergarten through 8. Like, they knew you inside and out. There was no escaping them except for when you were at your own house with your... Because, we didn't live by them. We all lived in separate areas of Phoenix. And so, we went on this field trip, and my friends who I had gone to kindergarten with, they were like, we're sorry, but you know what? You're not going to be allowed to hang around with us anymore because nobody likes you and you're not cool and everyone makes fun of you and you're making us look bad. So like that. And then after that, I'd get like made fun of. They'd draw pictures of me in class and call me names. And like, that's what my life was. So I feel so bad for the kids now. Like, at least I got to escape it. Like, when I went home, I had good friends on my block. But yeah, I remember like being in my room and I was gonna like hang myself from my ceiling fan. And so I even like put stuff up there, like the sheets. And I remember it started like pulling my fan. And I'm like, oh my God, I'm going to get in trouble by my parents.
Gonna break the fan.
So that's the funny part of this. So then that's what got me to stop, because it like jerked down a little. Like, when you, and like a little dust came out of the ceiling from where it's like nailed in.
Drywall, yeah.
Yeah. Because we had those popcorn ceilings back then.
Yes.
And, so then I was like, I'm going to get in so much trouble by my parents. And that's the thing. Like, kids, when they do that at that age, they don't realize that it's permanent. Like, and I probably had it in my mind, I'm going to do this because they just really want to escape, but not realizing that
it's not gonna
you
last.
escape forever if you're successful, So, who's next?
There's therapist, and this isn't all about mental whatever. I had a friend, and he was a coworker. I managed this Jiffy Lube type place, and I hired him on, and we just hit it off immediately. And we were just like best friends, and it was a funny story. The first day of work, he needed a ride home, so I gave him a ride home, and we're going to this town in New Hampshire. And he was about my age. And we'd go down this road, and I'd be like, oh, yeah, I used to date the girl that lived there. And he would be like, oh, yeah, Julie. Oh, really? And then a little bit, we'll go up there, and I forget whatever the names were. But there's 2 other girls that I had, and so-and-so that lived there. He goes, yeah. I was like, about when were you dating them? And it was at the same time.
Oh, wow. Whoopsie.
But me and him became really good friends, roommates eventually, and he ended up losing his job, and he moved out without saying anything and moved back in with his mom, just came home and all this stuff was gone. And I was, kind of pissed at him. But a couple months later, I ran into him at a party, and just, hey, how's it going? And he told me the story, and he was just, I didn't know how to tell you. I was embarrassed. I'm like, dude, that's, we've been friends for years. Why, of course, I would pay your rent, whatever, dude. Doesn't matter. We're buddies. Come over. We'll hang out sometime. And he also had left guns behind at my house. And I had got another roommate who had kids at the time. And I asked him if he could come by and get the guns, because I don't have a gun safe and I don't feel like having these guns, lying around. Kids can access them.
Right.
He said, sure. So a couple weeks later, Sunday, it's about 6:30 in the morning, 7, I get on the door, and he's there. And, hey, I'm here to pick up the guns. I'm like, well, thinking in my head, this is a little odd. Well, here you go. And I'm just again say, hey, dude, I love you. We're brothers. And gave him the guns, and he went on his way. What I should have picked up on the signs at the time was his wife had kicked him out the night before, and he'd been out drinking all night. So driving back to his mom's, he went off the road, hit a tree, broke both of his ankles. The police police show up, and he was feeling so hopeless at that point. I lost my job, moved back in with my mom, just wrecked my truck. Police show up, I'm fucked. And it was, he picked up one of the guns and right there. And I got that phone call a few hours later from another friend to say, hey, bear, sit down. This is what happened to him. And I was just knowing that I had handed him the guns just a few hours beforehand. I realized it's not my fault. I do know that. I think I should have picked up the signs. Maybe I could have talked to him. But again, ultimately, you just don't know. And people get into a state in their heads where they're just not thinking clearly, and they do something that's permanent.
It's one of my favorite bands, No Effects. They have a song called Brain Constipation, and it's about that. Like, the mind gets stuck, and it can't
Process.
flush the bad thought. It just, yeah.
Thought that was normal.
I think we wanted to get to the subject more last month on Suicide Awareness Month, but things just kept on happening, and we never got into the subject. And these are hard things to talk about.
Yeah, it's not comfortable, but I think that it's better to talk about them. Like, I don't know. Well, also, I'm one of those people that I like to talk about things that aren't necessarily comfortable because life isn't always comfortable. And there's silver linings within stuff. I mean, that would have sucked if I would have been successful. Like, that's what I tell kids nowadays. It's like, things will get better. You will eventually get away from all those assholes. They're only a small blip in your life, and you will do great things in your life. You will move on from that. You will. And you know what? You'll be really good at not taking bully shit. Because I am like, people don't really mess with, there was like, sometimes at work, people joke around with each other. And like, after a few times of them trying to sling insults, like, nobody really tries to mess with me anymore. Like, and then there's another guy at my work that's pretty good at the insults. And I'm like, one day I remember going up to him like, you had to have been pretty bullied when you were, like, younger, right? Like, you always can tell the people who... Yeah, so... And then you can laugh it off later.
Yeah.
Your 7th grade experience, except for I wasn't suicidal in school when I was at that age, but your 7th grade experience sounds a lot like mine. Because that's how girls bully is socially more than physically. Yeah. And I had a workplace recently that was like that too. And I swear to God, I was back in 7th grade again, and they were excluding me socially, and it was just whatever.
Yeah,
I know.
I've been getting a bit of that lately because of my job transition, and do have a couple of people that, it just like push your buttons, and it's just like, what are you doing? Come on.
And the reason that they do it, let's not forget, and I'm not saying that we shouldn't be tough on them back, though, because I do believe people should stick up for themselves. But the reason they're doing it is because there's not something right in their life. And that's usually why they do it. That's usually why children bully other children, too, is because they're facing something at their homes. Like, it's almost like if I could go back in time, I would say that to my bullies, I would be like,
What
I'm
the
sorry
hell's
that you're
on in
going
your
through something.
house?
You're still an asshole, and guess what? You've got flaws too. That's the thing. Like, see, I always thought that I would want to go be a speaker for kids at schools. But my strategy too would be like, the only way to really get even with a bully is you have to push back. And my dad used to tell me, he was like, you need to just punch him in the face. Because he'd get sick of me whining about things, about being made fun of. But I'm not a hitting person. I'm not wired that way. So I didn't do that. And I always did the thing where I would hope that they wouldn't see me. Like, I'm like, I'll just be quiet. I won't say anything and they'll leave me alone. They don't.
Yeah,
they don't.
That was mine too.
They pick on kids more. And what you have to do is you have to find their flaws and you have to be like, oh yeah, well you have this, because we all have them. But that's the only way to beat them. But you can't tell kids to do that either. Like,
no.
But the thing that pisses me off is like some of these teachers aren't really doing things for kids. And I get it. They have to handle a lot of kids. That's why there needs to be more resources in the school, and there needs to be more like counselor type, and not just put all that on teachers. Yeah. There needs to be more people dedicated to that so that all kids can be safe in school.
You got a good point. Like, teachers are already over taxed as they are. Like, they're just, they got so much stuff going on. They don't get paid that much. I thought about substitute teaching, and I'm like, oh my God, I'd rather go back to Iraq or Afghanistan before setting foot in a public school. I'm not making that up.
No, I'm laughing because I know.
Somebody's going to be like, well, have you ever been a teacher before? I'm like, no. Well, here's your chance. And the bullying thing, too, it's like, I've been bullied and I've been a bully. I won't deny that. Like, I've picked on people. It's like a weird pecking order especially when you're a teenager. All those hormones are raging. You're in between going, God, I want to see a naked woman, versus beat the shit out of somebody, versus getting the shit beat out of you. And it's just a weird mix. So how do we confront that? How do we confront bullying? How do we deal with depression and anxiety? I don't know.
Well, if we could solve it, we wouldn't be sitting here.
I know. It's basically one day at a time. That's how you deal with.
And I guess anybody listening that feels like kind of hopeless and gets into that situation, you just need to remember to step back and know that, hey, things are going to change. Things are going to get better. And, even though you can't see it right now, down the road.
Do you journal, exercise? That helps.
I wrote on.
There's a lot of things. Oh, sorry.
Four words that I wrote and I stuck to my refrigerator for a long time that said, "This is only temporary."
Yeah.
That's great.
Yeah.
It is. Everything is.
That's it. I think I might do that.
Everything is temporary. If you're having a good time, don't worry, it'll change. If you're having a bad time, don't worry, it'll change.
Right.
And then the other thing, I think this podcast helps a little bit is like we could talk about, the stuff politically and that get it off our chest. And this is kind of a good thing. And I guess the moral of the story is if, talk to somebody about it if you're feeling that way. And, believe nobody's going to judge you if you come to them and say you're feeling down.
And since I've been inspired to act with love with my love glasses and everything, if I could just say, to all of my bullies, I'd actually say thank you. Thank you for what you did, because I'm pretty kick-ass now. So thank you. Like, they actually made me a stronger person, honestly, with what they did. I still think they're assholes, but it's like, you know what? Like, I guess I'm a better person for it. So I kind of feel like I won.
Well, if you're a bully and there's no consequences to being a bully and you're a narcissist, you end up being who we have for president right now.
Right?
Sorry.
Yeah. Hey, it's okay. I mean, it's
No, that was
it's
a good
truth.
joke.
It's
That was,
truth.
and it wasn't even really a joke. Yeah, it's like,
Yeah.
Well, he wears a suit and a tie, not like acid wash jeans and a like Def Leppard t-shirt.
with cut off sleeves
Fucking Iron
Peg
Man
roll
like
jeans.
and a mullet,
and a mullet. Yeah, can't leave out the mullet.
You know,
hockey hair.
you know.
Hey fucker, come over here, dude. Lick this fucking piece of dog shit. Lick it now. Lick it so hard.
I don't think we intended this to take this turn, but it was a good conversation. We wanted to tell some ghost stories, but what we're going to do is we're going to wrap this one up, and we are going to come up with another one where we keep it a little bit more scary and like whatever.
Ooh.
But this was
Plus,
a good
it'll
one.
be closer to Halloween then.
Yeah, that's probably a better idea anyway.
Yeah.
No, just hang on, people. I'm just doing this for the audience, okay?
Oh, okay.
Sorry.
Sorry about that.
God.
Aren't we? Can we be our own audience?
Nobody knows how this shit works around here. All right, Reality Redemption, we're checking out, okay?
Bye, y'all.
Thank you.
Later.
Bye.
See ya.